Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's
How
it
you
going?
What's happening?
Oh, happy Thursday.
Yeah,
And
Easter weekend.
yeah, I know, long weekend. So
Yes.
excited for that. Got Benny here. We just haven't done a podcast in
Ages.
I don't even know. Yeah. And we're just saying how it's just been crazy. Like, everyone's been so busy and I haven't had time and Dan hasn't had time.
Yeah.
So finally, like, let's just do it. Let's do it now. So,
Let's make it happen.
yeah. So we thought today we talk about the 5 love languages. I don't know if you guys have read that. I read it a long time ago when I was going through divorce with my ex. You know, someone recommended, like, oh, you should read this book. And I read it, and it just really shed some light on relationships for me. And
and how people communicate, right?
exactly. And just what you need and how to help your partner. And I like how, it was just basically like, if you're not connecting on the same love languages or not willing to compromise and give that to your partner, it's just not going to happen, because it's like speaking different languages, really. And you're like,
Yeah. And do you think let's go through the
let's
5?
go through before I
get questions.
Okay.
Go on.
So we've got acts of service.
Yeah.
We've got words of affirmation.
You're
gifts.
the greatest.
Yeah, you're the greatest. Gifts, gift giving, touch, physical touch, and quality time.
Cool.
So those are the top 5, and essentially we actually have all of them. There's all of them what we need, but there's some that are more dominant than others, for sure. Like, so what are your top 2?
Top 2? Mine are touch and I think affirmations.
Oh.
That I give, I think.
Yeah.
Or service, probably service. Touch and service. I'm a toucher.
Yeah, I know you're a toucher. You're a toucher. I know toucher. Yeah.
Too touchy-feely.
Yeah. No,
yes,
that's good.
gets me in trouble. But acts of service. Like, if you're my person, I'll probably do anything for you.
Yeah, which is good. Just like that's. So going with that, segue into that. That's one of mine. Actually, my top one is acts of service. That, and then second would. It's kind of a tie between quality time and touch. But probably those 2 are about the equal with me. Yeah. But definitely acts of service is number 1. I knew that. So,
and acts of service is things like making sure there's beer in the fridge, or making sure, I don't know.
Like someone, like sometimes, like, you know, Jason will pick me up from the teaching, which is really lovely. I'm like, oh, that was nice, you know, or like, you know, even like my dad, like, you know, he's always like doing things for my sister and I, and and it probably stemmed from that, from my dad.
Yeah. That's where you kind of learn it, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's so good at that, acts of service. So that's kind of probably where I got,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And then, so what happens? Say if you're a touchy person or an acts of service person, so you're always running around for your boyfriend, you're picking him up, you're making sure there's petrol in the car, there's food in the fridge, there's all these things that you're doing, but then their love language is maybe gifts and quality time, and they might not then recognize the fact that you've done all these things because you're talking a different language, right?
100%. And I think that's what happens, the disconnect, you know. It's like you got one partner, like you said, that wants gifts or physical touch, and the thing is, like, I don't want to give that. Say, for example, like, I was with someone, like, who wanted physical touch. And I'm like, well, I don't want to give physical touch unless my love language is, you know, kind of like, if I'm feeling loved and I'm getting, like, whatever I need, acts of service, so I'm feeling loved, then I want to give back. But if I'm not feeling that love, and then it's hard for me to want to give that, you know?
So how do you navigate that? Do you explain to them what you're looking for and what your needs are and what your, I guess, expectations might be?
I try to, I think it's good to talk about, communicate on what you need and want to to feel love and to feel fulfilled, and so that, and it's a mutual exchange of energy. You know, both people have to be doing the same thing. Can't just be one sided. Like, I need this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
You know, which I know some relationships are like that, but you know, it's a mutual exchange of energies, and you both have to like communicate about like what you need and what will help you feel fulfilled. And of course, ultimately, we have to feel full ourselves and like before we can give. So we've talked about that self-love. But as far as a relationship, when you are giving to another person, it's you want to feel good about that, or else I said, if I don't feel good, then I'm not going to want to give that person touch or that person what they might want.
Like, and I guess so then that, like, if you're aware, first of all, of the love languages, because some people aren't. Right?
No,
like we've had this conversation in a pub and people are like,
oh,
just have sex.
Just have sex. Touch
but then, so I guess if you're aware of the 5, then feel into what feels good for you, the things you look forward to, and that's probably yours. And then try and suss out what your other half might be thinking, and then meet in the middle, right? Do you meet in the middle, or do you just be like, I'm a gifter, so you'll have my gifts and to hell with it. Like,
you don't like it.
If you don't like it, it's in the bin. Because that's the thing, right? When your love language isn't being reciprocated or felt, then you feel like the other person doesn't love you. So then that could, if you're not conscious or aware, lead to like a cascade of, well, this person doesn't love me because they're not gifting me all the time.
I know.
Where in actual fact, they're like running around doing their love language.
Exactly. That's the disconnect. Exactly. Because how I express love and give love might be different than you or my partners how they want to receive love.
Yeah.
And if you can't like meet somewhere in the middle or just be willing to compromise or give that, then it's not going to work. Because that person's going to be like, well, you don't love me. But it's like, well, I do. I'm showing my love. But they're like...
Yeah, they're blind to it, right?
Yeah, but this... And that's, again, communicating how they want love, you know, what they need, and then being able to, like, give that. And I think there has to be that compromise, and there has to, you know, especially if you're on 2 different wavelengths. And
Yeah, so it comes to understanding and communicating, not being afraid
huge,
to like say, actually, to feel safe and happy and warm or whatever, like I need X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. No, I think it's really important. So I just talk about it. And I think that's the thing about relationships is it's all communication, but it's sometimes hard to talk about like what we need and...
Some people might be shy about it, or they might not feel safe communicating that. They might not have had a trusting environment, or they might have been shut down for it before or something. So then there's trauma attachments.
Exactly, or people afraid to ask and thinking
they
they don't deserve it, or they don't know how. So lots of things, but that's like it's definitely changed my life and how I look at relationships and perspective. So it's amazing book, but
And do you find knowing your love language types now, if you were to become single again, would you try and only date people that match or mirror your love language? Or is it okay to date other people who have different types of love language?
I'm okay with dating people with different love languages. That's totally fine. I think it's more just like, you know, we talked about just communicating that and like, okay, well, this is how you want to express love to me. That's fine. I love that. I appreciate it. But actually, this is what I need. And being able to talk about it. And as long as the other person is willing to try, you know, what you need to give you what you need, then that's okay, because that shows something just there. And same with me, like I might have, you know, the way I want to give love might be different than like what the other person wants. And
true.
Just being willing to be open about it, and talk about it, and to
express it in a way that can be received, heard, and actioned.
Exactly. And it could be a good thing too, you know, to do something different instead of just always like, you know, he said, let's have sex. That solves everything.
It does it, right? So on the flip side, let's go here for a second. If are there like, what's the opposite of love language? Hate language? Like the way people fight or like argue or disagree or show their disappointment. Like you said before that your love languages weren't being reciprocated, so you felt sad, and then you didn't want to give your love languages. Is there is there a fight language? I've just asked this question.
Fight language.
Yeah, maybe that could be our new book.
Yeah, I suppose. I think some people like. I actually do think some people like disharmony. They like to disagree, and they like to.
And they do it in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Some people might go real quiet and withdrawn and inwards.
Yeah.
I know some people like that. Some people might like fly off the handle, be explosive, and like boom, but then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people can be resentful and
Yes.
and where's that passive aggressive?
Yeah. Or the hanger on to us ones. The ones that just like, in 1973 at 2:00 on Tuesday, you said this.
They're like, I've got it. Yeah. Like, it's totally whipping it out like out of my phone. Like,
Yeah. But you said that. That's 25 years ago. What? Yeah. Well, maybe that's the thing. But, well, I guess it all...
to you, when you say that, I'm like, oh my god. Sorry. Because I'm like, who does that? But clearly, someone does do that.
Still hurts.
Penny. Oh.
But yeah, I guess it all comes back to communication, right?
Yeah.
Express your needs. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't have tantrums or sulk.
I know.
Or remember things from the past. Let it go. Let it go.
I know.
I tickled you, right?
That was funny. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, who does that? But clearly. Yeah, no talking. Just talking about it and getting out there. So I think that's number one. Communication. But it's all communication at the end of the day. But and what about you? Are you willing to compromise or give, like, if your partner has, like, say you have a partner who's like physical touch isn't one of their things.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, yeah.
Then, I think that understanding of that and then knowing not to take it personally is maybe something I might not have cottoned on to at the appropriate moment until maybe it was too late. But knowing and having the awareness about it is key. So previously, like, I might have been a bit hurt that they're not doing the things, but rather than taking it personally, understand that they're not doing the things out of spite. They're doing it because they speak a different language.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is communicating in the same way. Yeah, because it's okay to be with someone so you've been with someone that hasn't been your same love languages. Yeah.
And what I've noticed too, like, if it's a different love language to what you're used to, like, an ex was gifts was her thing. So then I was like, I don't like gifts. So then you just kind of go overboard and buy all the things and then actually presents, but like seemingly still not enough. But yeah, so then it's new. So you're like, I don't know how to speak this language. It's like when you go to a foreign country and you've got to try to practice Japanese for the first time. You're going to get it wrong a few times until you get it right. But eventually you learn it and it becomes the thing.
Exactly.
You know the right way to do it.
Yes.
And then it's nice to give. It's nice to match their language a bit.
It is, 100%.
If it's reciprocated.
100%. Yeah, no. I love giving too. But yeah, it's just the right kind of...
Yeah. Knowing the language.
No. Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Get the book. Read the book. There's heaps online about it. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's so good. I don't forget the author's name.
Yeah, same.
Maybe I should look it up. What is the author's name? But yeah, it's a great book, 5 Love Languages. Definitely recommend it and just have a read through it. I think it just makes sense. And like I said, for me, my love languages definitely stemmed from growing up from my father, because I'm like, that's how he showed love to my mom, and that's what I'm used to, and also to my sister and I. And so I'm always like, oh, that's kind of, I guess one of those
things you
learn.
learn.
My traits, I've learned.
Interesting.
But
Good one.
All right. Anything else you want to add, Benny?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, for listening. It was nice to spend some time with you guys. Anything you want us to podcast about, please reach out to us, and have an amazing long Easter weekend. Happy Easter. Eat lots of chocolate. And
I'm hungry.
I don't know. Oh, my God. All right. And we'll check in with you later. All right.
Yeah.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.